and welcome to the latest installment of Rock and Roll, everybody. I'm Robert Madoy. It's been another busy week in the world of rugby. Here to help us sidestep our way through the action is one of Ugandan rugby's greatest steppers. It's David Mutaka. David, a warm welcome to you.
Thank you very much.
How are you finding the pundit's chair?
Well, it's much more relaxing than changing room for either the Kobs or the Heathens, I'd say.
Okay. Yeah. And a warm welcome to you, Philip Kiwaijana, your second time round. How is it?
Thank you very much, Robert Madoy. As usual, very glad to be here. Very glad to go through rugby always.
Okay. Well, this is what's on the program for you. It never disappoints, and Uganda's biggest club rugby match promises to hold fans spellbound this weekend. We speak to Michael Okrach and Brian Odongo. We also have Edmond Tumusimo on the show. He feels rock and rolling on his latest comeback. And the boss of Entebbe Mongers dwells on his side's neatly blueprinted scheme for success. Yes, Entebbe Mongers coming up later on the show. Make sure you hang around for that. First though, to a match that has over the years embodied Ugandan rugby. It's Heathens vs Kobs today, and we've been speaking to the respective team captains.
The preparations are going on very well because one thing I'm sure of is this is a traditional team. Heathens and Kobs have been playing for a very long time, and they've been dominating the league. So for the Heathens, I'm very sure that the boys are well mentally prepared for Kobs.
We're thinking positive for this one. We think if we play as we've trained and how we've practiced throughout the season, I think we can take this one. Okay. At the start of the season, we wanted the trophy. But now that we have the trophy, we have another target, and that's to go unbeaten. I think we have the group that can do that. 2 games, we just take it 1 game at a time. Starting with this weekend, we take points as they come. I think we can go unbeaten this season.
I think what the coach was doing was trying to get someone who can replace Scott. So he has been having some changes there, Asman and Arthur going in. But I think now he has settled down for Arthur, who is playing much better than Asman, and Asman is much comfortable playing his prop number.
Heathens Kobs has always been the top game in the league, irrespective of the positioning. It's always a game everyone lives for, both the players and the fans. The fans should expect a fiery game on Saturday. It won't be easy for both sides. It's going to be a very hard game, and there's going to be a lot of nail biting. So
David, you've played in a few Heathens versus Kobs matches before. Could you just paint a picture as to how this game is?
I'd say for any player that has played either for Heathens or the Kobs, I think this is in club rugby, this is the biggest game. This is what you live for. This is what you live to play. And there is no tension like this week. Nothing can help you. I mean, you can't wait for the referee to blow the kickoff whistle, because at that point, I think, is when the tension almost subsides. And you never know how the game will go. Every game is different. You can't say that because we played like this the last time, this time we'll do X, Y, Z. You can only do your best in terms of planning, but the tension, the drama around the game always changes any script that you've written.
Okay. And the forwards, it's would I be right to put it that it's the league's best first row taking on the league's best back row? Would that be a best description?
Robert, interesting. Yes, it could be, but also when you look at Kobs, the return of their captain there in the forwards, Brian Odong, has brought a lot of impact there, has brought a lot of strength, and you feel he's really added a lot to that department. And when you put him with a player like Scott Oloch, really you're bound to get a good attack from the Kobs. Okay.
I know the league is already done and dusted. Do you think this will take the sting out of this game?
Of course, as a Heathens player, you'll be feeling bad that they've lost the league already. But it's their only reprieve from what has been otherwise an ordinary season by Heathen standards. For the Kobs players, of course, you don't want to get that trophy with a dent on it. And so losing this game is totally out of the question for Kobs. I mean, you want to establish dominance and probably say it's a new era. Over the last 5 years, it's been Heathens. I think Kobs are thinking it's our time now. Whether that is real or not, I'm sure the Heathens have something to say about it. So it's far from done. So I'd say it's going to live up to its billing, and it's too close to call. But as Philip has said, the Kobs squads have really improved, both in the front row and in the back row with Scott Oloch, Musaja on the right, Ramadan Govule. So you'd think that over the years it's always been the Heathens pack that has been the dominant one. But this, and as from the earlier game, the Kobs pack, and especially their defense, was the difference between the two games. Very opportunistic tries, great defense. The Heathens had domination, but not really much in terms of points.
Okay, and still sticking with that subject, I know rugby thrives on matchups. What are some of the key matchups that this battle is going to bring to the fore?
Of course, there's always been the one between Brian Odong and Dennis Tialata Muriti, the Kenyan turned Ugandan prop there. Both of them interesting friends at national team, but when it comes to a game like this one, they challenge each other way before. I mean, we saw them recently, even when they were off the pitch, challenging each other for a passing cage game there, and there will always be a matchup between these two.
Probably another interesting one would be Scott Oloch returning to his former home ground.
Okay.
So he'll be taking on number 6, Roland Bahendeka. Yeah. And how do you stop the 8th man, those 8th man picks? Yeah. Because those will be a huge factor. It sets up the platform from every set piece situation.
Yeah. Right now to another player who knows a thing or two about playing matches involving Heathens and Kobs. Standoff Edmond Tumusime has made a silent return to Ugandan rugby. We caught up with the player who looks set to make do with the beat patrol in today's top of the table clash.
Well, 2013 I took time off from rugby because I wanted to improve my other aspects in life, like my career. So I wasn't available to practice and obviously participate in rugby. The style of rugby is changing, and people have to adapt to the new style of rugby. So the conventional number 10 has evolved, right? And maybe some, I don't know, coaches have to expect certain number 10s to play a certain way, because it can't always be the same. For example, they used to say I was a running fly half, but most games these days, it's very difficult to get those lines in defense, for example, that you can exploit, because obviously defenses have gotten better. So it's not really that the fly halves are not as good or are not good. They're probably even better than I was, but obviously defenses as well have also improved. I actually didn't have a problem. What happened was when I joined Kobs, the players around me, especially the backs, and actually the forwards as well, were very attack-minded players, right? They enjoyed running with the ball. So we actually decided that there's no reason to kick the ball when you can actually run and score, try and get 5 points or 7 points. There's no reason to look for territory if you can pass the ball to someone like Alan Musoki or Tony Luja, or, and they break lines and go and score, so there's no point. Okay, I'll say this, I don't know, from the sentimental point of view or from a rational point of view. Either way, I obviously fancy Kobs winning this game. I know it's in Heathen's backyard, and they sort of have some. Tell you what, I've been playing with these boys in Kobs, and they've got a mission, and I'm pretty sure they'll do it on Saturday. I won't say that it will be an easy game, but I know in the end Kobs will come through, because this guys mean business.
Edmond Tumusime there. Just how do you think, how would you rate him amongst, where does he stand, amongst the all-time greats? I know there's been that great debate about where to place him. Do you place him right below Yairo Kasasa? Is Victor Kalimikogo? Does he also eclipse him? Just where do you guys rank him?
I'd say in the modern era, he has to be the most influential fly half. Yeah. And I say modern era because Kasasa probably played at a time when there were no tests. Kobs was really dominant. There were about 4 clubs. Yeah. You look at the people who came after that, like Victor Kalimgogo.
Yeah.
Then who would I say is the fly half? So after Victor Kalimgogo, there's really no real fly half. The rest was really tinkering.
Yeah.
And then Edmond Tumsime came and really took the game to the next level, both at club and national team level. And I think he made his bones really for the Uganda national team.
Yeah.
And once in a while when needed to, he did come on to cause the Heathens some pain as a player, scoring some tries where the defenders looked like they were sleeping, but it was not an easy thing to do. So I'd say he's really Uganda's best fly half to date. Yeah. I think if you said that, you'd take your money home. It's a safe bet.
Sure, and like you said, Edmond came up at a time the game was structuring to get more competitive, more than 4 clubs, internationals coming into play, and he stood out when competition had upped its game. I mean, Uganda taking on Kenya, playing the likes of Namibia then, and if you actually see, forget this season, for many who had missed him, his actual comeback, I think, was in a Bamburi game.
Yeah, Bamburi last season.
And he came on, I think, the final 15 minutes, and through him, there were 2 assists for a try, and I think he made 1 himself. Yeah. And everyone saw the bright light, because it's always been an issue at number 10 for Uganda.
We still have plenty to go through after the break. From Six Nations rugby right through to the rise and rise of Entebbe Mongers, it promises to be thick and fast.